Hi guys, today's math lesson is lesson 3-6, solve word problems using multiplication. Up to this point we've just been doing multiplying numbers 3-digit by 2-digit. Now they're going to be giving us story problems, and then we have to figure out which numbers and the story problems to multiply so that we can find an answer. How can you use a bar diagram to solve a multiplication problem? In your book, they like to do bar diagrams, which seems kind of confusing rather than just writing a multiplication problem, but we're going to kind of go through it, okay? The story problem is in the box at the top. In 1980, a painting sold for $1,575. In 2015, that same painting sold for 5 times as much. What was the price of the painting in 2015? So here I have my original price. Okay. Whoa. Not what I wanted. Hang on. Well. And then down here it says 5 times as much. Okay. When you are doing story problems, it's important to look at different keywords. For this story problem, times is obviously a key word. It's telling me to multiply. Okay. Some other key story problem words that you might want to look out for when you are doing your work would be key story problem words. Okay. The following are keywords. Anytime they say per, like if it's $10 per gallon or something like that, per means multiply. If they say times, multiply. If they say multiply, multiply. If they say for each, sometimes they'll say that. Sometimes they'll say twice as many, meaning to multiply by 2. Or if they ask you to double something, you might need to multiply by 2. Same thing goes for triple, quadruple. I'm trying to think if they have anything else. A lot of times if you are dealing with cost, like per something, they might want you to multiply as well. So here are some story problem words just to watch out for so that you know that they are asking you to multiply. Obviously, today's lesson, all of these are going to be multiplication, but there's going to come a time where you're going to be given story problems and you'll have to figure out if you're supposed to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So we have our problem. We have 1,575 and we have 5 times. It says you can draw a bar diagram and use a variable to find the new price of the painting. A variable is when you substitute a letter for your missing information. So what am I asked to find? So if I go back in the story problem, it says find the price of the painting in 2015. So the price of the painting in 2015 is what I'm looking for. Okay, so they took P, just the letter P, because price begins with the letter P, and they let that stand for how much the painting will be. I don't know what it is yet. I have to solve to find that letter. So let's draw a diagram to represent the problem. So if I take 1,575 and I want 5 times as much, I'm going to multiply that by 5, or I'm going to have 5 of them. See how they lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, 5 times as many, and then they put here the price in 2015 is P. Okay, that's what they did up here. So whatever all of these together is, that's going to be my answer. So now I need to solve my equation. 1,575 times 5 equals P. And when you multiply that together, you get 7,875. So that is our answer. P equals, or price equals, $7,875. To try some together, it says Sharon's stationery store has 1,219 boxes of cards. Mary's Market has 3 times as many boxes of cards. How many boxes of cards does Mary's Market have? So I'm going to go to my question. How many boxes of cards is what I'm looking for. Okay, and notice as I was reading, I was highlighting, okay? So I like to highlight the numbers as I read because that lets me know I got to go back and look at it. You can circle with a pencil, you can underline. I will say it's kind of hard to do on the computer if they don't let you have a highlighter tool, but you can always write these down on scratch paper. So if I have a piece of paper next to me, I might be writing down these numbers next to me right now, because I might have to do something with them. So 1,219 is something I wrote down. I also wrote down 3 times. And then I need to know boxes of cards is what I'm looking for. Okay? So here they made that bar diagram again. All they did was take 1,219 and took 3 of them and line them up. Okay? So I know I need to take 1,219 and I need to do it times 3. So all they did was take 1,219, 1,219, 1,219. They took 3 of them because you did 3 times. Okay? Another way, if you struggle with multiplication, another way to do multiplication is repeated addition. So if I wanted to, I could add all 3 of these and I'd get the same answer. But since we're doing multiplication, I think you should probably leave it to let's multiply, okay? Okay. So I'm going to set up my multiplication problem here. Notice that they put B boxes of cards. That's where my story question, how many boxes of cards, I'm going to change it to pink. How many boxes of cards does Mary's Market have? They let B represent the word boxes of cards, and then they put, this is how many Mary has, this is how many Sharon has. Sharon only has this much, but Mary has 3 times as much. So now I need to multiply to find my answer. I'm going to grab my pen. Okay, 3 times 9 is 27. Drop the 7, carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 more is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times 1 is 3. So I got the answer 3,657. So that's what I would write right here for number 2. Number 3 is the same thing. It says there are 14 theaters, so I'm going to highlight 14. In the mall, each theater has 175 seats. How many seats are there in all? Okay, so notice they took seats. Okay, here's their seats. Because they don't know how many seats are, you're going to need to come up with a variable. So what's the first letter of seats? S, right? So I would put an S here, and that would be how many seats. I have 14 theaters, which means I took 175 and I wrote it down 14 times. Now, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and add this 14 times, but I am not adding that 14 times. I would rather go ahead and multiply, because to me, that would be faster. So I need 175 times 14. Grab my pen. 5 times 4 is 20. Drop the 0, carry the 2. 4 times 7 is 28. Plus 2 more is 30. Drop the 0, carry the 3. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 3 more is 7. So I got 700 as my first partial product. I put a 0. And now I'm heading over to the ones. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. And then I add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. 7 plus 7 is 14. Carry the 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So I got 2,450 for my answer. Okay, so on your study practice or practice buddy today, you might have some problems that have this bar graph. Don't get intimidated by this. Just remember you're multiplying. So figure out how many you have here and multiply by what number you see in the box. If they don't give you a story problem, okay? So if I did not have a story problem here at all, I would just be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I'd be like, okay, I have 14 boxes and I have 175 in the box. I'm multiplying 175 times 14. They should give you all this other information, but if they don't, just count up how many boxes, multiply by whatever number's in the box. Okay? If you notice at the bottom, they are going to give you regular story problems that do not have the bar diagram. So Brad lives 12 times, highlight that, as far away from the ocean as Jenny. If Jenny lives 48 miles, highlight that, from the ocean, how many miles does Brad live? How many miles from the ocean does Brad live? So I've got Brad, who lives 12 times as far away as Jenny, and Jenny lives 48 miles. So I'm going to multiply 12 times 48 to find my answer. I'm going to put my bigger number on top, which would be 48, times 12. 8 times 2 is 16. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. Put a 0. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. Add them up, and I get a 6, 17, carry the 1, and 5. 576 miles would be my answer that I would write here. Okay, so again, remember that you are paying attention to what numbers in the story problem you need to multiply. Make sure you're looking for those keywords like times and the other words that we went over that mean that you're going to be doing multiplication. Okay, and take your time. Make sure you check your answers. Make sure your multiplication is done correctly.